It's Monday, September 8th. In the headlines, 60 buses deployed in the National Rural School Bus Program to improve student transportation. And the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency confirms cyber incident. Some services have been temporarily disrupted. In business news, Jamaican small businesses still lag in data protection and cybersecurity measures. Regionally, Guyana's President Dr. Irfan Ali is sworn in for a second term in office. And in sports, Reggae Boys prepare to face Trinidad and Tobago at the National Stadium on Tuesday. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, has confirmed that it experienced a cybersecurity incident on Sunday. According to the agency, the breach was detected promptly by its information and communications technology team. Swift and decisive action by the team helped contain the incident and minimize potential impact. As a precautionary measure, several of PICA's systems have been taken offline to safeguard data and facilitate a comprehensive investigation. At this stage, PICA reports that there is no evidence to suggest that any personal data has been compromised. However, investigations remain ongoing to determine the full extent of the incident. The agency has advised the public that there may be temporary delays in accessing certain services while efforts are underway to restore full operational capacity. A total of 60 buses were officially deployed today as part of the first phase of the National Rural School Bus Program, aimed at alleviating transportation challenges faced by students in rural areas. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz, Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, and Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Favour Williams, attended the rollout at the Halfway Tree Transport Center on Monday morning. Students from institutions including Jamaica College, Arden High, and Mona High School were transported to the Papine Town Center, marking the beginning of what the government describes as a significant investment in education and rural development. The Ministry of Transport has committed to closely monitoring operational activities across the designated routes today. Minister Darrell Vaz announced that a review of the initial performance of the program will be conducted on Friday, with any necessary adjustments to be implemented by the following Monday. Additionally, the government has indicated that more schools will benefit from the program as additional buses come into service. As the new school year begins across Jamaica, Jamaica Teachers Association President Mark Mallover has called for renewed emphasis on equity, respect, and improved compensation for educators. In his annual address, Mr. Mallover highlighted the resilience demonstrated by teachers and urged policymakers to translate supportive words into meaningful investment in the education sector. Danita Rodney has more in this report.
As classrooms reopen for the new academic year, the JTA president described the start of term as a season of fresh opportunity, one filled with hope for parents, nervous excitement for students, and renewed purpose for teachers.
A new school year is always a special time. It is a moment filled with anticipation, fresh opportunities, and the promise of growth. I am aware that across the island, parents are excited and hopeful. Students are nervous yet eager, and teachers are already planning how best to give of themselves in service to Jamaica's children. Let us embrace this new beginning with optimism and determination.
He commended Jamaica's teachers, calling them the nation's quiet heroes who sacrifice daily to nurture talent, shape character, and change lives.
You are the ones who, despite the odds, continue to prepare lessons, motivate students, and give guidance. You are the ones who build character, nurture talents, and help children discover their potential. Now is not the time to stop. Stay the course. Colleagues, may I encourage you to continue to conduct yourselves with dignity and professionalism that have always defined our vocation.
But he also pointed to major challenges, including poor salaries and inequitable funding across schools.
Our teachers deserve proper compensation, equitable resources, and working conditions that reflect their value as nation builders. It is time, indeed, long past time, that we honor our teachers with the same pride, the same passion, and the same respect. For they are not just shaping classrooms, they are shaping the future of Jamaica.
Jamaicans and supporters, both locally and abroad, paused to reflect on the life and legacy of the late Louise Bennett Coverley, born September 7, 1919, in Kingston, Jamaica. Louise Bennett Coverley was a beloved poet, performer, and cultural icon who elevated Jamaican patois to literary prominence, using humor and wit to reflect the spirit and struggles of her people.
There's nobody like Miss Lou. Nobody will ever replace Miss Lou.
We love your stadium here, Miss Lou.
She used to have ring ding back in the days. Every Saturday morning, I stay home to watch her with ring ding. And they sing our songs. Go instead market.
What do you hear, what do you feel when you hear the name Miss Lou? As a cultural icon, Louise Bennett, Miss Lou, is respected and revered locally and globally. And in fact, many of the cultural freedoms that we enjoy today, particularly in relation to the use of the Jamaican language, are the direct results of her efforts.
Louise Bennett is a preeminent and indeed the original cultural revolutionary of Jamaica.
And was it easy? Of course not. There were many who wanted to keep the language and the culture in its place and describe the language using words like Bogoyaga. But Miss Lou was a cultural warrior.
I know you fish at
Miss Lou is a pioneer in language, in poetry, in the expression of the Jamaican people and their culture.
Louise Bennett is as important as Jamaican as condensed milk and hardware bread.
Her contribution to Jamaican literature and language and way of life cannot be measured. I love her.
To the world, Miss Lou was an icon, but I had the privilege of having a wonderful personal relationship with Miss Lou. Several Sunday evenings on the phone while she lived in Canada, and sometimes I visited her in Canada, lay down cross-way her bed, and she taught me so many things about Jamaican culture. I remember after the birth of my son, she would call me every Sunday, and her first words were, "Oh, me baby," and she would caution, "Nobody poil him, A little poiling is all right, but nobody over-poil him." On the occasion of her 70th birthday, I wrote this poem for her. It is called Love Can't Done. Ramboat roses me cannot send you, and letter can't deliver kiss. Across the miles me cannot hug you up, but upon your birthday, remember this. Me love you like how craven puppy love cook food, like how careless girl love sleep, like how Iger boy love street corner, like how shepherd love him sheep. Like how Jesus loved the little children, like how lizard love lay down in a sun, like how Jamaican love bun rice and peas. In other words, me love you can't done. Catching to this age is no easy feat. You get wiser and sweeter too. Walk good, Miss Lou, and as always, make good duppy walk with you. So, from a grateful heart and a grateful nation, we're thanking Miss Lou for the amazing legacy that she left us. We also salute all the other performers who have just given her their love all over the world. People like Yasu Safari, Amina Blackwood Meeks, Mutabaruka, and Opal Papa Adisa. And we honor the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission for keeping her alive through the annual Festival of the Performing Arts, where children and adults from right across Jamaica perform her pieces every year.
Bina, me no joke with you, ma. Quick and brisk and pay me off.
Morning, noon and night and bedtime. She was yamming bun and cheese.
As a daughter, as a disciple of Miss Lou, my own tribute is the poem Thank You, Miss Lou, Thank You, which I wrote in 1996. Me is a born Jamaican and me proud. I'm want you to feel proud too. To walk around and big up your chest and say thanks to Miss Lou. You see, when she did start, she never knew how it would go. And enough people when they laugh and I call her Papi Show. But she galang strong and she stick it out because she knows that she did right. In her belly bottom, she did know one day they would have to see the light. You see, in time trouble take we, and Miss Lou and put we good name on the map. And she just have pushed Jamaica heritage and lad. She wouldn't stop. She said, take kin teeth, keep a heart bun. When times never so sweet, good luck will come as long as foul a crotch up dungle heap. Enough of them the things that she crazy and enough make up them face. Oh, Miss Lou chat this bogu yaga patois all over the place. Cause they was thinking say patois was bad English. Them never know, poor thing. Them wouldn't tell Nancy's story and folk song, them wouldn't sing. But at the jackass with him long tail bag of cocoa coming down and the peeled junk up on tree top just make them head spin round. And little by little, them start with back her, start with fan her flame. And see they after how much year, Miss Lou our household name. Now, we're not ashamed to chat with one language, and we are thank you for it, Miss Lou. They might teach it clear up at university, and Uncle Seka you. They might make film, they might write book, they might sing holy song, and say, oh, Patois is a good language, but you will know that all along. So now, we turn up proud to be Jamaican, and we want the whole world to hear. Miss Lou, enough thanks for how the Antenki never broke no square. Thank you, Miss Lou. Thank you.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. According to Harold Davis, acting CEO of the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, JBDC, Jamaica has made legislative strides in data protection, but still lags in adoption. The Data Protection Act, passed in 2020, reflects global trends in safeguarding personal data. Under this act, among other responsibilities, MSMEs are required to implement appropriate technical and organizational measures to prevent the unauthorized or unlawful processing of data, as well as incidental loss or destruction of or damage to data. Although Jamaica passed the Data Protection Act a few years ago, it has not yet been implemented at the level it ought to be, Harold Davis says, and he continues, the whole business of data privacy and protection is still behind where it should be locally, and this poses challenges for businesses seeking to compete globally. Mayberry Group CEO Gary Peart explained Mayberry's asset base has grown from $39.2 billion to $63.8 billion. Peart said people tend not to realize the strength of Mayberry. While many think of us as a little Jamaican company, in 2022 our shareholders' equity was $26 billion, notwithstanding the volatility in the market. Today we still have $24 billion in shareholders' equity. Peart continued that we have high unrealized gains under losses, but keep our focus on the cash generation side of the business. What does that mean? You see times where we record an unrealized loss, but we have generated significant cash. The group CEO said that we have paid out over $3 in dividends since 2020 with over $2 billion in shares, which approximates to an excess of $6 billion in dividends we have paid out over the period. We are realizing profits which allow us to pay out robust dividends, and our shareholders have benefited from that. For the trading period ending September 5, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited with 4,227,895 units traded, representing 30.87% of market sales volume. Coffee distributor Salada Foods Jamaica Limited with 1,553,128 units traded, representing 11.34% of market sales volume. Investment house Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial with 1,274,105 units traded, representing 9.30% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On September 5, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $36.17 million purchased and US $44.69 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $2.21 per dollar, selling the US at $161.31 and buying the US at $159.10. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $6.76 per transaction, with selling at $118.36 and buying at $111.60. The British pound yielded Forex traders 82 cents in profit, with selling at $217.78 and buying at $216.96. For our credit report tip of the day, a credit portfolio is essentially a collection of different types of credit accounts: credit cards, personal loans, auto loans, mortgages, and sometimes lines of credit. The goal is to show lenders that you can manage multiple forms of credit responsibly. A diverse portfolio with on-time payments and low balances signals reliability, which can boost your score. Lenders reward borrowers who demonstrate responsible credit use with lower interest rates on loans and credit cards. A solid credit portfolio increases trust with lenders, which often results in higher credit limits and more borrowing flexibility. Now, when you're building something from nothing as a professional woman at the age of 45 and beyond, money becomes more than just earning and spending. It becomes emotional, physical, and deeply personal. Debt can feel like a weight pressing on your chest. Savings might spark both relief and anxiety. Is it enough? Investments can bring excitement one day and sleepless nights the next. Assets carry pride, but also responsibility. And family influences, they echo in our heads every time we make a decision. Save more, spend less, don't take risks, think of the children. These experiences don't just live in your bank account, they live in your body. They show up as tight shoulders during budget talks, shallow breaths before logging into your account, or a racing heartbeat when discussing money with family. But here's the opportunity. Financial resilience is no longer the destination. At this stage of life, we're called to step beyond resilience to calm, clarity, and confidence. That means not only managing our finances on paper, but also managing the way money feels in your body day by day. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, 45-year-old Muhammad Irfan Ali has been sworn in for a second consecutive 5-year term as president of Guyana. The ceremony followed an official declaration from the Guyana Elections Commission, confirming a decisive win for the ruling People's Progressive Party, Civic. Thousands gathered under the blazing sun on the lawns of State House in Georgetown to witness the oath-taking administered by Acting Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Roxanne George. In his 33-minute address, Ali pledged transformation built on infrastructure, human capital development, and diversification of the economy beyond oil and gas.
My fellow Guyanese, in the next 5 years, we'll convert ambition into action and action into transformation. We will not speak in half measures. We will not hesitate. We will deliver. Yes, our oil and gas sector will continue to grow, expanding production and revenue for our people. But why stop there? We'll press forward with new exploration under a stronger production sharing agreement, ensuring that the benefits are greater, the gains are wider, and the wealth is truly for the people. But we are not a one-sector nation. We are building a diversified economy that will generate jobs, raise incomes, and secure prosperity.
The president says the next 6 weeks will see the rollout of major development projects, from a second gas-to-shore pipeline to new bridges, ports, and an economic zone in Barbados. As he put it, Guyana must now move from ambition to action.
In the next 6 weeks, planning and preparation begin for a suite of major projects: a brand new Barbados River Bridge, a bridge across the Quarantine River with Suriname, a second gas-to-shore plant in Region 6, the establishment of an economic zone in Barbados, the construction of a deepwater harbor, the expansion of the Demerara Harbor, the building of our national digital backbone through Digital Guyana project, and fertilizer and natural gas plants that will make Guyana an industrial powerhouse in the region. The next 6 weeks will see these projects advancing on track.
Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown is calling for at least one weekly flight between Africa and the Caribbean. He told fellow leaders at the second Africa-Caribbean Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, that countries should not hesitate to subsidize the venture. Is that what is required? He also wants priority attention given to preferential trade agreement, as well as the establishment of an Africa-Caribbean academic network. Garfield Burford reports.
It is a fitting day for Prime Minister Honorable Gaston Brown to galvanize his fellow leaders in the Caribbean and Africa to act. It is, after all, Africa-Caribbean Day. In a stirring message to fellow leaders in Addis Ababa, Prime Minister Brown urged action. He told them, quote, "Too often we have allowed hesitation to paralyze action. Too often eloquence in speeches has not been matched by courage in deeds," end quote. He says a preferential trade agreement must be negotiated with a fierce urgency of now. He points to the fact that despite an aggregate market of 1.5 billion people, trade between both regions is negligible. Prime Minister Brown also insists that an Africa-Caribbean academic network would allow our brightest minds to collaborate, innovate, and solve common problems together. He envisions student exchanges, joint degree programs, and shared research networks that can prepare us for the challenges of the future, from climate change to public health to technological innovation. And on the matter of connectivity, the Prime Minister makes an equally impassioned plea for action. Prime Minister Brown says Africa has the flights, including Air Peace, Ghana Air, and Ethiopian Airlines. He insists the Caribbean has the will and says even one weekly flight can begin the process. He says, quote, "If it requires subsidies from a coalition of our states, let us boldly make that investment," end quote. He continues, quote, "If a coalition of states must subsidize it, let us do so. The symbolic and strategic value of that single flight will outweigh its costs," end quote. So a call for decisive practical action to crystallize the message of unity across the Atlantic Ocean. Will the Prime Minister's speech be the inflection point? Time will tell.
A multi-million Barbados dollar development investment between IDB Invest and Pace Digital was inked on Friday. The financing will strengthen access to credit card services for individuals who don't have bank accounts in Barbados. It also aims to expand financial access to underserved segments of Barbadian society.
Growth, progress and inclusion is how Managing Director at IDB Invest Darrell White described the finance initiative between the two entities. He called it a landmark occasion and a step towards reshaping the financial landscape of Barbados.
It's our first financing in local currency, under local law as well, mind you, in government in Barbados. I don't know. Oh, here we go. And bear in mind that it's not just a signing ceremony, it's a step. It's a step towards reshaping access to finance for the people who need it most and who could otherwise be left out. And quite often, those are the people who appreciate it most.
The IDB Invest head says the transaction is connected, highly responsive and innovative, and it is hoped that it would act as an inspiration to empower more Barbadians to participate fully in the economy.
The strong focus is on low and middle income individuals. And I've seen the challenge sometimes in these individuals having access to credit. These are the segments that quite often face barriers when they seek financial services. They have credit scoring that is pretty rigid, higher interest rates as well, but yet they are vital to the resilience and to the growth of the Barbadian economy.
In sports, we begin with football. Jamaica's Reggae Boys are set to face Trinidad and Tobago at the office on Tuesday. This after a dominant 4-0 win away against Bermuda on Friday in the opening game of the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying final round. The victory puts Steve McLaren's side in a favorable position as they sit top of the group with 3 points, while Trinidad and Curacao are on a point each following their goalless result on Friday. With only the group winner guaranteed a spot to next summer's World Cup, victory for the Reggae Boys against Trinidad on Tuesday at the National Stadium would push them to 6 points, giving them the edge with 4 games to go. Following their goalless draw in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifier versus Curacao, head coach of the Trinidad and Tobago senior men's football team, Dwight York, admitted his disappointment on his team's failure to get the win. York, however, remained positive. The details in this story.
For the Trinidad and Tobago senior men's football team, Friday's 0-0 draw versus Curacao at the Hazy Crawford Stadium wasn't the result they wanted, as they now sit third in Group B in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. TNT head coach Dwight York described the match as a game of 2 halves, while highlighting his players' disappointment with the result.
We know the group that we got drawn into. We need to be at our best. We wasn't at our best in the first half. I think that was well acknowledged. But second half, if we play in the manner that we can play and create the opportunities that we have created, then I don't see any reason why. But we have to take it positive. We didn't concede, which we haven't done for. And since I've taken the reign, we always seem to concede, so that's a plus going into the game. So, you know, as much as I'm sure there will be 1 or 2 people who's going to be negative about the results, that's part and parcel of the game. But certainly there's plenty of football left. There's something to build on.
After a poor first half, York explained that the delay in making any substitutions was due to maintaining the team's momentum.
I think when you look at it, you try to evaluate it, you talk to your coaches, the guys that you trust behind you. You look at it, there was some momentum was building. We were really pushing Curacao towards their goal. Goalkeeper made a couple of good saves as well as cleared off the line. So you don't really want to disrupt that too much. And so, yeah, I know probably you could call for substitution, but I thought that you could see the energy, you could see the game has shift as well.
As the team prepares for their next assignment on Tuesday against Jamaica, Coach York said his team does not fear their Caribbean rivals.
Respectfully, I don't think that they're a real healthy place themselves, despite the result today. They won't be really looking forward to playing against us. We perform the way we can, but certainly when you take a look at the second half, I think we'll do that for a very, very tough game. But, you know, that's, we have to qualify for the World Cup. That's what it should be. There's no easy path or easy road to qualify for the World Cup. You know, tonight is just another example of the challenge ahead that we've got to make sure that we be at our best all the time.
York continued to advocate for a more proactive approach to their strategy rather than reactive.
And that's it for the news on PBCJ. Pleasant viewing.